Hi everybody, my name is Jaden.
I'm Jason.
I'm Caden.
And we are the Yahushua and the Torah YouTube channel, and it is a preparation day.
Yay! And so here we are, and it is a preparation day. It has been a very long week, and we are thankful for you guys, first and foremost. We're thankful that you guys are with us, and hopefully you guys are having a wonderful week. Hopefully you guys are blessed. If you guys need any kind of prayer requests at all, if you guys could possibly give us your first name and a direction for the prayer, let us know in the comments. We are happy to pray for you and help you in any way possible, way, shape, or form. And I guess let us start with yesterday's endeavor, and let me set this up, and let me see if I can tell the story correctly. So yesterday, right after we did the Yahuwah and the Torah, and so right now it is what,
Probably 6:15ish.
6:15-ish in the morning. And that's why you don't see Eli here. He just can't get out of bed real good. I don't know what the deal is. But yesterday, after Yahuwah and the Torah, we got done. We went out there to bath dogs. And Eli's outside of the house a little bit. And I swear I heard somebody yelling for help. It wasn't anything I could understand. It was foreign. And it sounded like a scream for help. And Cade was getting a little loud, and I couldn't understand I couldn't hear anything. And I told him to be quiet. And I heard it again, and I started screaming for Eli. And I'm like, Eli, Eli. And Eli says, I'm right here, Dad. I'm running up the road. What do you need? And I told him I thought you were screaming for help. I didn't know what that was. And so I walk outside of the yard. I don't know if I walk outside. How'd this go down? You were out there, right? And so Cade. Let's see, how did this exactly go down?
He came down.
So right outside of our yard a little bit, right after we heard that, an old man, he's like 75 years old, stumbles out of the jungle, and he has these almost like military boots, but they're the lace-up boots, and they were not laced up, and his tongues were coming out of it like they were sticking out, and he had a metal pipe, and he was very, very bad shape. He was shaking. Everything was shaking. And we know this guy, and he's about a mile or 2 miles away, maybe. And immediately we run over to this guy, and he couldn't stand. And it appeared as if he had drugged himself or had done everything possible to make his way over to us. And so I put my arms around him, and I lift him up, and immediately he slumps into my arms. And so I hold him there. And we're a ways away from our house, so I yell for Cade to go get a chair, and the old timer, he wants water, and we have no idea what in the world's going on. He says something about his knee, and he was chainsawing. Something had just hit his knee or something of the sort, and he's literally about 107 pounds, 106, 107 pounds, and he's just a very frail old guy. So I'm sitting there holding him. Cade runs back, and he grabs a plastic lawn chair that we have. It's just this old junker lawn chair. I think they're probably like $5 in the States or something of the sort. So we get him to sit down, and I have to have the boys keep running back and forth. We get him some water, and we're trying to figure it out. He's trying to get to the hospital. And here's a couple things first and foremost, is there is no way to drive in and out of our land. There's no roads. The roads are no more. And you can't get in and out, and so you have a trek through hard jungle before you could even exit our land. And so to get this guy, this old timer, up to where we can get transport, the old timer's trying to call his friends, and on one of our phones, and nobody could get he couldn't get a ride. He was just trying to get to the hospital, and so we are about a quarter of a mile from a road where there's still another 2 miles before a vehicle would ever come down. So we called a taxi, and first and foremost, we are those people who are, I hate to say, we're always extremely broke, and we don't usually have money around. And for whatever reason, we scraped up everything we had, and we came up with $32. And so Jaden, we nicknamed him Big Ben. Because he's large. He's like larger than me as far as just a bulky, strong guy. And Cade, and we begin in the morning. We take we we grab the lawn chair, and Jade on one side and me on the other side, and we lift the lawn chair, and we started this walk through the jungle. And it wasn't too bad. The guy was very light, right? 108 pounds or something of the sort, but his leg is all buggered up. And so we can't hit anything. And so we're giving him a ride through a plastic chair in the jungle, and it gets pretty, it's kind of hard to walk here and there. And we got to a part where he had to pull the trees out of his way as we lift him down. And so we ended up in these really thorny bushes, but we lifted him up and over that. At one point, Jaden had the old timer on his shoulder in the chair. And we finally make it this quarter of a mile up to the top, and we have to cut our gates. We have to cut our fences and stuff to get him out of our property. And so we contacted, as we were making our way up there, this taxi came from quite a ways away, but he came really super fast. And we get him there, and what we find is that the taxi, we get him loaded up in the taxi, right? We have to lift him up in this taxi. And the old timer doesn't have any kind of ways to get a hold of his family. His family lives in another town, and he just kind of like lives on this little farm by himself. But he has a wife and kids and stuff. He's just really old out in the thing. He had no way to get a hold of his people. So we had $32. We told the taxi guy, look, can you please take him to the hospital, wherever he needs to go, stay with him, because we need to get a hold of his family and try to get his family to him. And so we didn't know what to do. We couldn't just let the taxi guy take him away, and we lost track to this old timer, and his family wouldn't know there. So we keep track of this guy, and he goes to one hospital, and I guess it's so bad they take him to another hospital. And the day goes on, and I guess he gets medical attention and things of that nature. You know, it was a really crazy situation, and we were all day long. I kept telling my wife, I'm like, wow, that was the most amazing experience I have ever had in my life. I cannot believe how amazing this was. You know, getting to first of all, when he came out and his shoes were all unlaced and the boys were running back and forth, I got to get on my knees, and I got to pull up his pant leg, and I got to pull up his sock, and I got to lay, and I don't speak really good Spanish. My boys speak really good Spanish, and so I'm trying to ask him, do you want me to lace these up? And he's like, please. And it was on his bad knee. And so I'm sitting there, and I think about our Messiah washing the feet of his disciples, and I am so honored to be able to lace up these grungy old boots on this old timer that is just so broken, and just to have this kind of experience of this, and it was something that you just can't ever get back. So let's start up at that point of the story, boys. What do you guys have to put into this story? Cade, Jade, you guys are both helping?
So the thing about the screaming, we didn't go check out the screaming because you can be like, why didn't you go see who was screaming? Well, there's a guy who's around here who has cows, and he's always screaming for the cows, so it just sounded like the guy screaming for cows.
He drinks a lot.
And he starts screaming a lot.
Yeah, just out of nowhere. I think he screams for the cows. I think he loves his gin and whatever it is, but he gets all liquored up and then goes crazy, and sometimes he chases a cat. It's really weird because we're out in the middle of nowhere. On the day-to-day basis, we don't ever see anyone. You would literally have to get very hard to ever get to us, to find us. And so we don't see a lot of people. And this one guy that goes around screaming all the time, we have no idea. It's really creepy. We'll be out farming, and this guy gets liquored up, and we'll hear from a distance him screaming and the cows going. So we just assume he just gets drunk and starts chasing cows or something. We don't know what he does. Go on.
Yeah, so a few more things on it. You have pretty much everything about carrying him and everything else. He got water, on a chair, and he has to wear a face mask because it's required to have a face mask inside the hospital.
So we had to mask him up. So we got a face mask there. And I thought it was just a super amazing experience. So we get home. Well, we were home all day. We're home all the time. So we're here all day, and we're talking to his family, finding out what's going on. The taxi guy, he leaves. They're at the hospital, and they call us later, and instead of them going to their other house where they actually kind of have a house, they decided they were going to take him back out here. And he doesn't live in a house. He lives in a shack. This guy, he has literally chainsawed a couple trees down and put it together, and it's not a cabin. It's kind of a shack. And I don't even know how to describe the thing. What did you guys describe it as? His house?
Oh, so he went and cut out some trees and cut them into boards and stuff and posts and made this little house. And his roof is a tarp.
Yeah, his roof is a tarp, and so these people are very, very poor in this country, very, very poor, and so.
Another thing I want to mention is before he ever left for the taxi, he said, "Do not call my family." He goes, "I'll walk back by myself. That we don't need to worry them." And he's like, because they'll come visit me tomorrow. I'll tell them everything that happened. They don't need to rush or worry today. So he didn't want his family to come down yesterday.
Yeah, and he thought he's like, this has happened before, and so I'll be okay. They'll go reset this thing or whatever it is, and I'll be able to walk out. And I'm like, well, we were freaking out because we just didn't want him being hauled away to some hospital and no one knows where the heck he's at or anything of the sort. So that was a very blessed experience, and I would say that was the greatest experience of that day. However, when they decided to bring him back out, which is very interesting, Jaden and I got to walk over a mile with a chair with the old timer.
It was at 2 miles.
It was about 2 miles through the jungle in the middle of the night, and so they got it right before sunset yesterday. They got him with another cab way up the road, way further from where they picked him up. And so Jade and I take our chairs and flashlights and we go up the road and we find him. And he is his son is a really short guy. And here in this country, I don't even know what to say, but we're what they call like tall whites. Like anyone in like South America, people are very short compared to North Americans. I don't know why that is. But the old timer was short and his son is real short. But his son, when we first caught up with him, he had been packing him on his back. And since the old timer had only one leg, he could only, he was just like pulled up on his neck. And so Jade and I rushed there. We got the chair and we begin this 2-mile walk through the jungle. Jade on one side, me on the other. And then we swapped off with his kid. And it was just a long trip. What did you think about that trip, Jade?
I wasn't sure how it was going to go because it's definitely downhill. It definitely gets very dangerous. Some points where there's big rocks and slippery dirt and stuff. It's like moss almost on the dirt.
It is like, I mean, the trail or basically the jungle that we had to go down is like a kind of like a mountain trail. If you don't watch your step, you will go flying, and
especially where it's getting dark.
Yeah, especially where it's getting dark. And we have an old timer, and if we take a flying leap and hurt him worse. That was what we were really, really concerned about. And so Yah gave us the feet to get him where he needed to go. This family was so grateful to us. The old timer said, "How much did that cab cost?" And we told him it was a gift from our Creator. And he looked down and just kind of smiled. And it was a really, really rough day for him, but we were able to get him back to his house with his family. And now his wife and his kid are here. And we told them yesterday, you cannot leave your dad out in the jungle like this anymore. He's too old. And if we were unable to hear him screaming, he would be dead. It would just be a horrible, horrible thing. So, very amazing experiences that we got on that. Anyone else have anything? Kate, do you have anything to add to this?
I really have nothing much to add to it. I didn't do a lot.
You were with us. You were back and forth. We all did a lot. And, the thing is where we have 10 pit bulls, it is crazy because somebody always has to watch the pit bulls. And when drama happens, the pit bulls get excited as well. And so Cade was coming running in back and forth. We thought the old timer, when we first saw him, he was on death's door. We didn't know exactly what had happened to him. And it was just real shaky. So to be able to hold an old timer up in your arms and have them just relax and just, it was just an amazing experience. And, that is, I thanked Yah all day yesterday for this life experience and for us being able to have this, for giving us the abilities to be large like this, that we are able to do things. And that's what I was telling Jade. Not all of us in this house are built equally, right? I am a large individual. Nicole is obviously small. Cade is her frame. Jade is my frame. And Eli's kind of in the middle of it. And so that's what I was telling Jaden yesterday. I said, you need to thank our Creator that he gave us the strength and the just being big. And I've always thanked my Creator for being large. Even though I was overweight, I've always been very large. And I'm able to do things that smaller people can. It takes 2 or 3 people to do. And so yesterday we were able to demo that we were able just to do this. And, we have some hip issues today. My hip hurts. Jade's hip hurts. It was a long walk. And, But Yah gave us the power, and we were chuckling and laughing all the way down and joking with him as his arms are wrapped around our necks, and we're carrying him in this chair. And it's just a great experience. So
That's why we didn't get a picture of it.
yeah, we didn't get his picture of it, but that's the thing. And at one point we were trying to figure out, we're like, how do we get this old timer up to the thing? And I was going to put him in a wheelbarrow, and the first thing I thought of was, I'm like, that's pretty disrespectful, is putting somebody in a wheelbarrow. And the chair was better. I think if somebody was even bigger than him, I think a wheelbarrow might have been a better option.
His wife said last night, she goes, a wheelbarrow would be a great option right now. I'm like,
And we had already discussed that. We're like, we're not going to put an old timer in a wheelbarrow and do this to him, especially where his knee was all jacked up. So we were able to do that. Thank Yah for this. And let's continue on, guys. It is month 9 on our Creator's calendar. It is a preparation day. Yay! It is the 16th day on the Gregorian calendar, 22nd on our Creator's. That means next, what is it? Oh, 16th. So no, actually, it's not next week. It's the next week is the pagan holiday, which they call Saturnalia, where people have taken one guy whose 2 letters almost say Saintin, but then they say Santa, and then the guy has claws, like, death claws.
It is next week.
Is it next week?
Look,
24th. It's 25th.
I know, but
Isn't it Christmas 25th?
Yeah,
I haven't
but
celebrated for so long. That's not Christmas.
what day is it?
it's still
Wife, that is not
it's
Christmas.
still only a week away.
That's called Christmas Eve.
It's
That's when all the little
it's
kids
like
get
a
on their
week
knees
a
in
week
front of
and
the
a day.
Nimrod tree and open their gifts right on Christmas Eve.
A week and 2 days away.
We bow to the idols.
We bow to the Nimrod tree on the 24th and the 25th. Okay, not us, but that's the rest of the world. All right, so anyone else have anything else that you guys want to discuss on this? Jade, did you feel blessed?
Yeah, definitely helped the old man out. He was pretty messed
I
up.
think saying old man's kind of disrespectful. I say old timer. I try not to say it, but he is an old man. And then we don't want to use his name because, nobody would ever know. But what did you feel blessed? Did you feel like you were washing feet of anyone? Or
Yeah, definitely helping people.
yeah, and it feels good, doesn't it? Does it feel bad helping someone out?
No.
Do you ever feel bad by helping people out?
No.
I ended up yesterday just on cloud 9 or whatever they say. That's probably satanic. I don't know. But everyone says you're on cloud 9 when you're happy. I was very, very elated the entire day. I was less elated when I found out I had to carry him 2 miles home.
It was so great we did it second time.
Yeah, and that's why as I was chuckling to myself, I'm like, Yah, I kept thanking Yah for this experience. He's just about to give me a 2 miler versus a quarter of a miler. And that was, again, a very awesome experience and right up into Boss Clan territory. Okay, Luke 22. And the festival of Matzah drew near, which is called Pesach. And the chief Kohanim and the scribes were seeking how to kill him, for they feared the people. And Satan entered into Yahuda, who was called of Kirioth, who was numbered among the 12. And he went and spoke to the chief Kohanim and captains, how he might deliver him up to them. And they were glad and agreed to give him silver. And he promised and was seeking an occasion to deliver him up to them, away from the crowd. And the day of Matzah came, when the Pesach had to be slaughtered. And he sent Kepha and Yochanan, saying, Go and prepare the Pesach for us to eat. And they said to him, Where do you want us to prepare? And he said to them, See, as you enter into the city, a man shall meet you carrying a jar of water. Follow him into the house he enters. And you shall say to the master of the house, The teacher says to you, Where is the guest room where I might eat the Pesach with my Talmudian? And he shall show you a large, furnished upper room. Prepare it there. And they found it as he had said to them, and they prepared the Pesach.
So,
okay, go
the
ahead.
thing I know is they obviously know how to cook. I think he sent Peter and John here because they were the fish guys and they knew how to cut up stuff probably cut up stuff pretty easily.
Right.
So that's probably why he sent those two to.
Do you guys find it a miracle at all that the guy with a jar of water, go find the guy with the jar of water? How do we know? How do they know the guy with the jar of water is going to be carrying this in? Or how?
I don't know. Maybe like an angel went to the guy with the jar of water, be like, "Hey, the teacher needs a room. Can you give him a room later?"
This is what I was talking. This is what I was saying the other day. That every single thing, every miracle, every work of wonder that our Creator has done has been pre-planned. Right? Everything from this guy with this jar of water that just happened to be walking by, right? To where you just go and you have a house. Who are these people? How did he set this room up? How did these people know? How did this guy know there was going to be a Passover here?
And he just let him like, okay, cool, yeah.
But it's the plans, right? It's the Ruach HaKodesh. It's the plans of our Creator that do all this. Okay, 13. And going, they found it as he had said to them, and they prepared the Pesach. And when the hour had come, he sat down, and 12 emissaries with him.
And the 12 emissaries?
And the 12 emissaries, yes. Thank you, good proofreader, Jubby. I appreciate that. And he said to them, with desire I have desired to eat this Pesach with you before my suffering. For I say to you, I shall certainly not eat of it again until it is filled in the reign of the Elohim. So this is something that I guess is very interesting, that the Son of the Most High has a desire, right? An anticipation that he wants to sit and eat this Passover with him. Why would he do this? Why would he have a desire to eat the Passover with his Talmidim?
Maybe because he's hungry or because it's a command?
I think it's because of his dad's ceremony, right? I mean, the Passover came from us. What is the Passover? Why is it a big event?
Well, there's a few reasons. One is because it's people got out of Egypt, they were freed from Egypt, and it's a yearly tradition we're supposed to follow. And then there is Yahushua, he became our sacrifice lamb, he became the Passover lamb.
But ultimately, when the Passover happened, what didn't happen and what did happen? Who died?
Yahushua.
On Passover. I'm talking about the old Passover.
the
the days of Moshe.
Egyptians.
Right, the Egyptian Passover. Right, because I mean, the Passover wasn't just something with right here, right? Where did it come from? Why is it important? Why did he want to celebrate this with his Talmudim? Why was this important?
Because the Egyptians, all the firstborn died, and all Israel was saved that night, and it became a feast as a remembrance that we were saved by Yahuwah in Egypt.
Right. All right. Yeah, that was hardcore. Sorry, guys. I just took a drink of straight ginger tea. My wife takes the ginger, boils it up, and it has a little bit of a kick. So I was sitting there, not desiring that. Okay. So he wants to sit there and eat the Passover with us. 17. After taking the cup, giving thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves. Did I miss something?
No, it said and taking. It said after taking the cup.
I shall certainly not eat of it again until it is filled. Where did I say to you?
17.
17. Okay. And?
Yes, you said after.
Okay. And taking the cup, giving thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of the fruit of the vine until the reign of Elohim. Okay. Right here, did he drink wine right here or did he not?
I believe he did here and they didn't afterwards until.
He said it took the cup, giving thanks. He didn't say it. Never say he actually drank it, but he does. I think in other previous books.
I think he probably drank. I think he probably did the Passover probably because you're supposed to have the. I think you're supposed to have wine, right?
Who said that? Where's the commandment said it?
Pretty sure it's in the Passover.
What? You're supposed to have wine?
Yes.
Who said that?
Passover commands.
The Passover command says we're supposed to have wine.
No.
I've never seen that. What Torah are you reading, Jebby?
I don't remember.
There's no Torah command to drink wine. It's a lamb roasted before.
Right,
it
but
must be eaten.
bitter herbs. Oh, maybe it's matzah.
Yeah, matzah. No, they throw wine into this, but that's not the Torah command, right? We're not told to drink wine. Okay, so. And taking the cup, giving thanks, he said, take this and divide it among yourselves, for I say to you, I shall certainly not drink of the fruit of the vine until the reign of Elohim comes. See, right there where he said this, you would almost say that he took the cup and then he gave it away and said to divide it among yourselves and said he would not drink of the fruit of the vine until the reign of the Elohim comes. Or because it would almost seem like he would say, I shall certainly not drink again of the fruit of the vine until the reign of Elohim comes, right? So do we know?
Yeah, that's what the NIV says.
So what does it say? For I tell you, I will not drink again from the fruit of the vine. Okay, so yeah, he probably drank at that point. Okay, 19. And taking bread, giving thanks, he broke it and gave it to them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you. Do this in remembrance of me. Okay, now I got to stop on this because we will have people, and I don't know any other way to say it other than they're like, some people are actually satanic and they're like, well, Messiah Yahushua right here just said you're supposed to give a body. You're supposed to eat the body. Does this say to eat his body?
No, we're not supposed to eat people. We're not cannibals.
We're not cannibals. There's Leviticus 11 tells us not to eat what we can and what we can't. Right. We don't eat humans. That's not what...
He's saying you take part in the salvation. You'll take part in being part of my body.
Yeah, and part of this, he says, do this in remembrance of me, right? This is where we are... to remember Messiah Yahushua, his sacrifice that he was about to do, that we now know that he did, right? In remembrance of me. And so this is a remembering ceremony along with Passover. And so 20. Likewise, the cup also, after supper, saying, this cup is the renewed covenant in my blood, which is shed for you. Okay, the renewed covenant. What is the renewed covenant, gentlemen?
It is the renewed Torah.
And what is the renewed Torah? What do you mean the renewed Torah? What does that mean?
It is the Torah renewed because the Israelites broke the commands and Yahushua came to restore it.
I don't think it's the Torah renewed. I don't think it's the Torah renewed. We never lost the Torah.
Well, it's like the
it's the part of keeping or not keeping the Torah that is renewed. I will give you another chance. If you, as the people of our Creator, would like to obey my laws, statutes, and commandments, I will be your Elohim and you will be my people. I will write the laws, statutes, and commands upon your heart, your mind, and your soul, right? This new covenant out of Hebrews 8, the renewed covenant, or the new covenant as they call it, it is for the house of Yashrael. It is not the house of Gentile. It is not the house of Christian. It is not for anyone else. And so if you are thinking that you are in a renewed covenant and you are not the house of Yashrael or the house of Yehuda, you're not making it to the renewed covenant. You don't have a renewed covenant. The renewed covenant is for those with the faith of Messiah Yahushua and keep the laws, statutes, and commands of our Creator. 21. But see, the hand of him delivering me up is with me on the table. For indeed, the bin of Adam goes as it has been decreed. But woe to that man by whom he is delivered up. And they began to ask among themselves, which of them it could be who was about to do this. And there also took place a dispute among them as to which of them seemed to be greater.
So here we have like someone's gonna betray me, and then like wait, which one of us is the greatest?
Yeah, but they didn't understand that stuff, right? And they believe because they're hanging out with Messiah Yahushua that they are going to be the greater, and maybe they are. We don't know.
I think they judged the 140,000 or whatever. I think that each one of them will judge the 12 tribes.
All right, 25. And he said to them, the sovereigns of the Gentiles rule over them, and those who control them are called workers of good. But not so with you, but let him who is greatest among you be as the youngest, and the leader as one who serves. Okay, you guys understand this? What this is saying?
He's saying humble yourselves.
Yeah, humble yourselves. Humble yourselves. Do what you need to do to save the people. It does not matter what condition the people are in. Humble yourselves and take care of them. For who is greater, the one who sits at the table or the one who serves? Is it not the one who sits at the table? But I am in your midst as the one who serves. But you are those who have remained with me in my trials. And I covenant with you as my Father covenanted for me, a reign, to eat and drink at my table in my reign, and to sit on thrones, judging the 12 tribes of Yashrael. And the add-on said, Shimon, Shimon, see, Satan has asked for you to sift as wheat. Now, this is something I think everyone needs to understand, that you are going to be sifted as wheat. You will be attacked. You will be taken. If you are in Torah, it is just going to happen. And so we need to pray against things of this nature. And if Satan can go petition our Creator to have at it, and that's what Satan was doing, just like Satan petitioned for Job.
And Abraham.
Right? And Abraham. Right? They all petition. And if Yah allows, then your faith in your life is going to be tested, and we need to come through with all of this. 32. But I have prayed for you, that your belief should not fail. And when you have turned, strengthen your brothers. And he said to him, Adonai, I am prepared to go with you, both to prison and to death. And he said, I say to you, Kepha, the cock shall not crow at all today until you have denied 3 times that you know me.
I wonder if he didn't say that, would it still have happened?
Him denying him?
Yeah, if he didn't say you'll deny me 3 times, would it not have happened?
Well, yeah, absolutely. He just put the rooster right there because that's one. Yet again, that rooster, the egg of that rooster, for him to hatch, for him to come around, for him to crow at that exact time. These are all the pre-planned, pre-orchestrated things that our Creator uses to make his point and to make his ways. Okay, 36. And without that rooster, who knows where Kepha would be now, right? 35. And he said to them, when I sent you without purse and bag and sandals, did you lack any? And they said, none at all. So when did he tell him to go without bag, sandals, and purse?
I told him to go and teach the word.
Yeah. Told him to go earlier and said, don't take anything. If you don't have nothing, don't take an extra purse, don't take extra underwear or whatever you have, don't take any extra stuff. And 36, and he said to them, but now let him who has a purse take it, likewise also a bag, and let him who has no sword sell his garment and buy one. Okay, this is a little bit different than turning your other cheek, turning the cheek. This is a little bit different than what we knew before. He just changed his direction for the disciples, right?
Yeah, he basically went from basically like turn the other
What
cheek
is he
to
doing right
defend
here?
yourself.
Right. What is he doing right here to these people? What is he doing to his people?
He's
preparing them for war.
He's preparing them for what's coming, right? Because if he would have died and he would have had it where his instructions were not to take anything, and then all of a sudden we have all of this come against them, they were not prepared. They were prepared at first, but this is what he says. This is very important. And people are like, well, we don't need it. We don't need to prepare. We don't need to do anything. He says, let him who has no sword sell his garment and buy one. For I say to you that what has been written has yet to be accomplished in me. And he was reckoned with lawless ones. For that which refers to me has an end too. And they said, Adonai, look, here are 2 swords. But he said to them, that is enough. Okay, the Grand asked us the other day, she's like, why are 2 swords enough?
I think for what they were about to happen that night.
That night?
Yeah, probably for that night.
I think it was in one of Brother Todd Bennett's writings when he wrote where Shimon and Levi went and killed the people and just 2 swords and that was it. Like that's enough. It was enough to wipe out a city. I think it was like more like 2 swords is plenty if you have the power of Yah.
How many swords do you guys use when you guys go cut grass?
1.
Why don't you guys use 2 swords?
I don't know. I mean, I don't.
Why do I use 2 swords and you don't? Why do I always like going to the...
Arm strength.
I'm much bigger and I can swing these suckers around.
I'm just not very good with my left hand when cutting, so that's why.
Yeah, but when we're cutting like mass amounts, you just go left, right, and just come down like that. So why are 2 swords enough though? Yeah, we only have 2 hands. What are you gonna do? Fight with your toes? You're gonna take up a little mini sword, put up a fork in your toes, and fight with the 2 swords and a fork, right? So you have 2 swords. That's enough. You don't need enough. I mean, 1 sword is enough. 2 swords is enough, right? And that's what he's saying. You're good. Don't worry. Don't weapon up. Don't get any more than this, right? 2 is enough. You're good. Okay, 39. And coming out, he went to the Mount of Olives according to usage, and his Talmudim also followed him. Did you guys say according to usage? And coming out, he went to the Mount of Olives according to usage.
Yeah, it's a usage.
According to usage?
I don't know what that means.
Everyone has it?
Yeah.
Okay, so what does it say on 39?
And coming out, he went to the mountain of olives according to usage, and his Talmudim and also followed him.
All right, so
his habit.
okay, yeah, and then the NIV says Jesus went out as usual. Okay, so as according to usage,
Usage just seems like a weird word to use.
yeah, well, it's good discussion. Okay, and 40. And coming to the place, he said to them, "Pray that you do not enter into trial." And he withdrew from them for about a stone's throw, and falling on his knees, he was praying, saying, "Father, if it be your counsel, remove this cup from me. Yet not my desire, but let yours be done." Okay, this again kills the Trinity. The Father is one. The Son is one. The Son is not praying to himself and asking himself to be let go of the trial that's about to happen and denying himself, right? This is the Son that is doing the will of the Father. And so many people get this wrong. And it is just, there's so much of deception. I don't know if the world will ever figure this part out. Okay, 43. And there appeared a messenger from Shemaim to him, strengthening him. And being in agony, he was praying more earnestly. His sweat became like great drops of blood falling down to the ground. Okay, why is he getting in more agony? What is going on here?
Because he knows he's about to die. He knows
He's about to get
he's
attacked.
get brutally beat up and then killed,
Tortured.
and then mocked the entire way through. And it's a nervous thing.
This is absolutely nerve-wracking. These are the final moments, and we're understanding the human side of our Messiah, that he is doing the same stuff we would do. And I mean, I've had it where the sweat drops like giant drops of blood falling to the ground, right? You just sweat in pools of sweat. Your nerves are at the edge. And I mean, I'm sure his heart rate was up. His blood pressure was probably up. He was probably very terrified of what was about to happen. Okay, 45. And rising up from prayer and coming to his town meeting, he found them sleeping from grief. Okay, so they're sleeping from grief. Are they sleeping from grief or are they sleeping from tiredness?
Maybe exhaustion.
Yeah, this says in the NIV they were exhausted from sorrow. And that could be. I mean,
yeah, that when you're like really like sad or you're really like upset about something.
Why were they sad?
Because they know their friend's about to die. They know their friend's about
Do
to
they?
die.
I don't think they quite understand that yet.
I don't think they get this yet. I don't think any of them get this yet. But maybe. I mean, because Messiah's
I don't really
crying.
have a reason that they're sad other than they know that Messiah's about to leave.
Well, he's in grief, right? He's in grief, and they don't quite understand this whole thing quite yet. Okay, 46. And he said to them, "Why do you sleep? Rise and pray, lest you enter into trial." And while he was still speaking, see, a crowd, and he who was called Yahuda, one of the 12, was going before them, and came near to Yahushua to kiss him. And Yahushua said to him, "Yahuda, do you deliver up the bin of Adam with a kiss?" And those around him, seeing what was about to take place, said to him, "Adonai, shall we strike with the sword?" And one of them struck the servant of the Kohen in Hagdadal and cut off his right ear. But Yahushua answering said, "Allow it this far." And touching his ear, he healed him. And Yahushua said to those who had come against him, the chief Kohanim and captains of the Mikdash and the elders, Have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs?
All right, so we know that from the other books that it was Kepha that cut his ear off. Why didn't the people retaliate when he struck the Kohen Haggadol of all people?
Number one, they were terrified. Everybody was terrified about Messiah Yahushua. They've seen him heal people. They've seen him bring people back to life. He has seen the blind have vision. The deaf can hear. People with blood flows are fixed. Fevers are fixed. Sicknesses are fixed. I mean, it just goes on and on and on, right? You do not know what you are going on. He could have gone, boom, and they would have dropped, right? And you don't know what you're getting up against, right? And so as they expected a war, that's why they brought all those people out with them.
And it wasn't the Kohen Hagdol, it was the Kohen Hagdol's servant.
Yeah, and I don't think they would have come out. It said the chief Kohanim, and the captains of the Mikdash. So I mean, it does say chief Kohanim.
It says servant of the Kohen Haggadol.
Servant of the.
When I cut his ear.
Okay, right. I don't know why they didn't just pick up swords and
Start
deal with that.
fighting the Talmudium for that. I don't know.
The power of Yah that he can. I remember one of the stories of when Esau is going to kill Jacob when he's coming back, right? Remember that? And he's going out there, and all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 angels, and Yah allows them to give Esau like this vision of thousands and thousands of hardcore war troops, right? And all of a sudden this one group goes by Esau, and they're like, "If it wasn't for your brother Jacob, we would have killed you." And then they keep on going on. And then another troop, a whole bunch comes in, and they're like, "If it wasn't for your brother, Jacob would kill you." So like 3 or 4 of those went by, and by the time he was done, he's like, "My brother has like an enormous army, and I just about died," right? The power that our Creator has, he can strike fear in your hearts. He can do whatever he wants, right? It is only by him that we have abilities not to just flee in terror over everything, right? So anyone else on this? Thoughts? Okay, 53. "While I was with you daily," so he's talking about them. Why have you come out as against a robber with swords and clubs? "While I was with you daily in the Mikdash, you did not lay hands on me. But this is your hour and the authority of darkness." And having seized him, they led him and brought him to the house of the Kohen Hagdadal. And Kepha was following at a distance. And when they had lit a fire in the midst of the courtyard and sat down together, Kepha sat among them. And a certain servant girl, seeing him as he sat by the fire, looked intently at him and said, "And this one was with him." But he denied him, saying, "Woman," I do not know him. So what is second? But he denied Yahushua.
I was confused about that as well.
Okay, yeah, so he denied Messiah Yahushua, saying, "Woman, I do not know him." And after a little while, another saw him and said, "You are one of them too." But Kepha said, "Man, I am not." And about an hour later, another insisted, saying, "Truly, This one was with him too, for he is a Galilean too. But Kepha said, Man, I do not know what you are saying. And immediately, while they were still speaking, a cock crowed. And the Adon turned and looked at Kepha. And Kepha remembered the word of the Adon, how he had said to him, Before a cock crows, you shall deny me 3 times. Okay, this is one of these things we don't get, right? One of these parts right here, the Adon turned and looked at Kepha, right? Can you imagine that? He's sitting there a ways away, and he's just out there, and then all of a sudden the rooster crows, and the Adon looks at you, right? He knows
that you denied him.
He knows that you denied him. Your heart would be crushed. You not only the cock crow, the Messiah knew it, right? The Messiah knew that he was denied amongst men. Okay, 62. And Kepha went out and wept bitterly, obviously. And the men who were holding Yahushua were mocking him, beating him, and having blindfolded him, they were striking him on the face and were asking him, saying, Nabba, who is that struck you? And they said to him much more, blaspheming. And when it became day, the elders of the people, both chief Kohanim and scribes, came together, and they led him into their council, saying, If you are Hamashiach, say it to us. And he said to them, If I say to you, you would not believe it at all. And if I asked you, you would not answer me at all. From now on, the Ben of Edom shall sit on the right hand of the Almighty Yahuwah. And they all said, You then are the Ben of Yahuwah? And he said to them, You say that I am. And they said, Why do we need further witness? For we have heard it ourselves from his mouth. So, if he is really, if the Son Jesus is really God, and he just said essentially that he's the Son of God, that would make him a liar, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right? So if they had our Creator in their hands and they were about to kill our Creator, how is humans able to kill our Creator? How would our Creator allow himself to be killed? And that is what everybody has with this Trinity. They are like, well, the Creator loves us so much that he came and died for us. Well, I think it's better that he loved us so much that he sent his Son to die for us, because where did our Creator go for 3 days? Did Satan run the Shemaim? Who's running the Shemaim? Where did he go? It doesn't work like that, right? The Son is the Son. The Father is the Father. And we must get this doctrine correct, because so many people are praying to the wrong entities. They're doing the wrong things, and that's just wrong. So tomorrow, everybody.
Is Shabbat.
Shabbat. Drum roll for Shabbat. Yay! We need it. Hopefully we don't be carrying anybody through the jungles today, because I need a rest, and we need a rest on Shabbat. Tomorrow at 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, you know where to find us. We will have it posted as soon as we can, and we hope to see you guys there, and we hope you guys are studying up on your Torah commands. We might do a little bit of quiz tomorrow and see how you guys are doing. See if it's the Sliger family that takes first place, or see if there's any other family out there that can even rank. I would say I put you guys in against the Sliger family, but I think Rhiannon beat you guys last time. She beat you. She had like 20-some commands.
I didn't compete because I had the list right in front of me.
Oh, that's true. That's good. All right. Well, that's honest at least. All right. Well, thank you guys very much. Thank you, everybody out there. We will get busy and have a good day.
All right. Shalom.